Also guys, I'm cheating. It's very, very hot. And I'm just wearing boxers. I should... Oop.
Dumi-dumi mo!
Hey guys, mabuhay! Welcome to Sunday Palengke, where we try not to lose our minds. I swear, I'm sorry, last episode parang nabaliw ako ng onte. But hey, we're back with another week to cover. If you're new to the show, welcome to Sunday Palengke. This is a show where we discuss current events, news, mga pangyayari sa Pilipinas, and mga pangyayari sa ibang bansa minsan. And I force my opinion down your throats. Joke lang, no, I, try to discuss them with you and give you my 2 cents. And for my old viewers, hello, welcome back. Thank you for staying here with me. Thank you for supporting the show. You know how this show is so important to me. And thank you for being here on another Sunday night with me on this Sunday Palengke show. Let's clap for each other for being here and clap for me because I woke up today and sabi ko, let's do the show. Let's do the show today. Even if I've had upload problems before, edit problems. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for being so patient. And yeah, let's get on right to it and let's see what happened this week that's worth discussing. Okay, let's talk about this whole community pantry thing that has been sweeping the nation and honestly sweeping the whole world. If you've been up with the times and you've had the time, energy, and resources to keep up with the news, community pantries has been one of the things that has been keeping us hopeful, giving us light at the end of the tunnel kind of vibes, keeping us very hopeful for the last 2 weeks. It's literally one of the few good things that has happened to us within the past year, honestly. So if you do not know what the community pantry is, please Google it, search it up, read about it. If you have time to watch this YouTube show, you have time to read about the news.
Period!
So again, as expected with this whole community effort, community pantry, this whole give what you can, take what you need setup, as expected, when something great happens, the government has to have a hand in it. Kailangan may role yung gobyerno dito, kailangan may ambag sila. It kind of feels like kailangan makredit sila some way. Kailangan hindi sila ma-outshine. And contrary to what the government has been saying na, guys, kailangan magtulungan tayo, they are actually doing the complete opposite by red tagging and terrorizing these community efforts. When in fact, these community efforts are covering their lapses and are doing the government's job for them. Parlade even openly admits that they're profiling these leaders, these community pantry leaders. They are profiling and red tagging people who are helping keep people fed. They are profiling people who are covering the lapses of the government. Along with Pralade is Lorraine Badoy, the spokesperson of NTF-ELCAC, or the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict. Pero parang that's such a big name, no? Parang ang laki-laki nilang organization. And with a 19 billion budget, they had the time and they chose to put their energy, time, resources, and effort towards red tagging community pantries. They are targeting small local food banks whose sole purpose is to feed the people.
Disgusted, I am revolted, I dedicate my entire life to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and this is the thanks I get?
In fact, when Lorraine Bedoy demanded for these community pantries to do a transparency report on where their money went, the netizens fired back on where did the 19 billion budget allocation for the NTF-ELCAC go? What projects did they do? What have they accomplished? What do they plan on doing? Because I personally do not have an idea kung anong ginagawa ng NTF-ELCAC. I do not know what their role is. Kasalanan ko ba na hindi ko alam? Or hindi ko lang talaga sila nararamdaman? And to the demand of the netizens of, asking where the 19 billion went, they haven't really answered that. And because of all the red tagging and the Satan metaphors and the general stupid shit they said the past few weeks, a gag order was already released today for Lorraine and Perlate. So now they can't really say anything about these community pantries or anything in general, I think.
Yes.
Because I think the more they say, the more they're endangering the NTF-ELCAC. Because there's already a move by the senators to defund the NTF-ELCAC. Because parang wala naman silang silbi, honestly. Also, it's like really good, it's really refreshing to see LGUs, mayors particularly, who are helping these community pantries, these community efforts, who see the good in them and they are acknowledging the efforts that are being done with the communities. Like Mayor Joy Belmonte and Vico Soto, they've openly voiced out their support for these community pantries. Angel Locsin was also in the news this week, and I would say not for good reasons. She was in the news for a very tragic and dark event in the middle of her saintly efforts. Kasi for her birthday, I think, she decided to set up a community pantry at Barangay Holy Spirits, which is medyo near sa akin yun, to provide aid for hungry citizens. But a very tragic event happened kasi may senior citizen na namatay while lining up for her pantry. I mean, I have to reiterate, I don't know why I have to reiterate, but this is not Angel's fault at all. Nor is it the community pantry's fault, really. But still, you know, amidst all of this, Angel Locsin still feels guilty for what happened. She's owning up to the tragic event, even though she really didn't have to. This is a person, Angel is a person who is not at all at fault for someone's death, but still she's owning up to it. And I think that's just because she cares. And I can't be left to imagine kung what if our president cared the same way. With Angel's community pantry and the death of the senior citizen in her pantry, lining up for her pantry, Teddy Herbosa, oh my god, also gave a hot take on this tragic event, and he called it death by community pantry. Of course, he gathers fire for it. All hell breaks loose on his ass. And then he tries to retract it and save himself from the social crucifixion, which he deserves. And then, further progressing, he resigns from his post as vice president of the UP system. I mean, come on, Teddy. I saw na you follow me on Twitter. Wala ka man lang na-pick up sa lahat ng efforts na ginagawa ko to, I don't wanna use the word educate, but like, sa lahat ng videos na nalabas ko, sa lahat ng niretweet kong posts, wala kang na-pick up kahit isang ounce of empathy or compassion for our poor countrymen. It's sad, honestly, Teddy. Taga-UP ka pa naman. But you know what's really funny? What's ha in my head? It's our government is so estranged from the idea of kindness that a small table with a charitable motive has set the world on fire for them. The idea of kindness, service, generosity, compassion, charity, these are values that are so alien to them. Hindi nila makilala tong mga values na to. And when they saw it, through the community pantries, trinato nila tong kalaban. Trinato nila tong enemy nila.
Enemy spotted.
Their knee-jerk reaction to seeing acts of kindness, acts of compassion, their knee-jerk reaction was to treat it as an act of terrorism. They saw people uniting as a community to make sure everyone is fed, everyone is alive, and they saw that as an act of terrorism. An act that gives people hope is so threatening to a government that is founded on fear. I mean, from Hunger Games, President Snow says,
Hope. 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 It is the only thing stronger than fear. A little hope is effective. A lot of hope is dangerous. A spark is fine, as long as it's contained.
also, what's very interesting to see are, you know, zealous intellectuals on social media who are trying to decipher and explain the phenomenon of community pantries. I mean, daming hot takes left and right. Big words are being thrown, different theories, different ideologies. And I do understand the sentiment of trying to explain what's happening. Trying to explain paano tayo nakarating dito. Trying to explain, you know, socialism, Marxism, communism in this. Parang what these ideologies play in the community pantry phenomenon. But, like, Now, I think it's really pretty simple what it is. I think it's generally just kindness. It's kindness. It's people needing help and people coming to help. I think that's the general explanation for it. That we are seeing the idea of people being internally and intrinsically greedy. Did that even make sense? Internal and intrinsic. Parang word vomit yan for me. Let's use a simpler term. We are seeing the idea of people being naturally greedy diminish right before our eyes. We've been taught na when crisis comes, it's every man for himself. But now we see the complete opposite. That when given a chance, people will come together and help each other. And it's so nice to see that when we are led by greedy and corrupt leaders. And it really gives you hope, don't you think? Taray! Parang TED Talk yun, right?
I like that laugh.
The community pantry phenomenon wouldn't have happened, wouldn't have existed if the government functioned as it's supposed to function. These private efforts would not exist if the people were well fed and well provided for and well taken care of. These pantries exist because there are lapses that needed to be covered. These community pantries are direct manifestations of the government's failure. You can quote me on that. Also, a lot of our DDS friends, not friends, are having the time of their lives on ganging up on Angel Locsin for, breaching protocols. Which isn't her fault entirely. Because a lot of people who gathered in the area are, hungry, asking for help. They're out there for an essential need. They were out there because they had to have food. They were out there because they needed food. But, still, of course, they're enjoying making Angel Locsin their target. But I don't see the same energy when these events happen. Are we forgetting all of these quarantine protocol breaches that were committed by our officials who actually have the power to control these crowds? Even Bongo last March 15 went to Butuan City and gladly took photos without masks with children. So what's going on here? Anyway, in other news, on social media news, one particular man swept gay social media by storm. Aaron Piercer, who goes by @LloydAugustin, literally had the gay shock when he opened the private, exclusive access, for pay-only private account, which, has NSFW content. And hours after opening this account, he showed his GCash account for receipts that he gained 100,000 pesos from, his subscription. And of course, ang daming haters kasi they're seeing someone succeed. And daming reactions left and right on what's happening, ano bang meron sa account niya, lalala. But let's not make it about him. Dora, why is this big news? Okay, patience. I'm going somewhere here. Because, I don't want to make this about him because selling your nudes isn't a new thing. Let's talk about something everyone has a different take on. Sex work. Okay, so let me set something straight here first, okay? My opinion on this, me alone, Dora, ako, my opinion, I believe that sex work is work. And what you do with your body is your business and your business alone. And I respect sex workers and I respect the hustle, okay? Why do I think sex work is work? I think it's a long discussion, Pero to make it super long story short, I don't see the difference between with consent, okay? With consent, I don't see the difference of paying someone to massage my back and paying someone to massage my booty hole with their dick. I don't see the difference. I think a body part is a body part. If someone's massaging you with their hand, that's your body part. Massaging your back, that's your body part. It's body part on body part. We have over-sexualized genitals so much that we have created this taboo on anything sexual. Anyway, that's a whole other discussion, okay? Also, am I a consumer of sex work? Yes, I'm an avid porn watcher. Avid? Yeah, that's that. And I would give anyone who shames sex workers a very hard time. But Also, on the other hand, let's not forget and let's not turn a blind eye towards the fact that, lalo na here in our country, in the Philippines, sex work is, lalo na yung sex work that is not on social media. Sex work like on the streets, okay? Sex work like physical sex work, like face-to-face sex work. As much as I want to preach sex work is work, yes, that's true. Let's accept the fact that a lot of sex workers here are forced into that situation. They are forced into becoming a sex worker because of lack of opportunity, because of unfair wages, because of poverty in general. A lot of sex workers here are victims of systems. They are victims of not being able to earn enough and not being able to access opportunities that should be available to them but weren't because of the whole setup of the system. If an opportunity is presented to them that pays them well, secures them, gives them health benefits, and will have a good impact on their life and their families, I think, my opinion, that they would not be forced into being a sex worker. Okay? That's what I think. I'm not a sex worker. Okay? Which brings me to my next point. I think when it comes to sex work, we have to listen to our sex workers. Because sex is so taboo that we tend to force an image and an opinion around them without even talking to sex workers. And I think when we use reasons like health and sorry, I'm just putting it out there, okay? When we use reasons like health, kunyari, health is one of the biggest things, and safety. Health and safety to sex workers, diba? When we say, oh, it's dangerous because may STDs, ganyan, well, to risk of being murdered, hurt, abused, why don't we have the same energy towards farmers who spend 10 hours plus a day under the sun? Risk of skin cancer or risk of over fatigue. Why don't we have the same energy towards call center agents who don't have the right sleeping pattern? Why don't we have the same energy towards freaking UFC fighters who get their face bashed in and could suffer lifelong effects? Why don't we have the same energy for them na don't do that because of health concerns, because of health hazards? That's the process in my head right now. Kasi we always say, oh, sex workers, don't do that kasi nga, you might get sick. Yeah, sure. But what about, why don't we say the same reasons for other jobs? To minors. Why don't we have the same energy towards yung mga pinapag-dive natin sa mga imbornal? That's a dangerous job. Yung mga umaakit sa kable, that's a dangerous job. Why don't we have the same energy towards that? It's because of the taboo we have built around sex. And I was listening to this podcast, which I would very much encourage you to watch. It's by now open. This is the thumbnail. I'll link it down below. But it's super informative because when it comes to sex work, and I watched this prior because of my friend Trisha Obanon. I watched this, so I had my script, right? Sabi ko, Trisha, can you please for me skim through my outline? And then she linked me to this podcast. So I was done with my outline, and then I listened to it. So may mga common ideologies and beliefs towards sex work. But what I didn't consider talaga is why do we form an idea and opinion about sex work when we haven't talked to sex workers yet? Why do we feel the need to tell society what sex workers need and what sex work is? And hindi na lang natin kausapin sila mismo. Because I've seen on Twitter, right? Parang a lot of issues around sex work, but everything who's talking aren't sex workers. paano natin malalaman yung kailangan nila if we don't actually talk to sex workers? I forgot to film this, but I saw it in my script. I didn't get to say it. Singit ko lang. But like, why are non-sex workers so obsessed with what sex workers are up to, or what sex workers need and what sex workers want, especially? It's like, it's kind of like, why are homophobes so obsessed with homosexuals? It's mental to me. Yun lang, sorry, pangit ang angle. Okay, so whatever. So what's the root here? But sa ibang bansa, okay naman, mayroong, like, if we look at like Netherlands, may parang legal yung sex work. They have, I don't know the whole situation there, but it's decriminalized, gets. We are the most religious country in Southeast Asia, fact. And with that, we are very conservative. The sense of conservatism is there. But with this, sex work is still here. It exists. But also, a lot of people still shame workers, which translates towards sex work being a crime here. Fact, it is a crime here. So what do I think should happen? I think we should fix the system first. I think we should decriminalize sex work. For me, here's a non-sex worker saying what I think a solution would be for sex work. The ideal solution would be when a sex worker becomes a sex worker only if they choose to become a sex worker amidst of all opportunities presented to them, where sex work isn't their only viable choice, where sex work isn't the only choice that will provide them with what they need. If and then those conditions are fulfilled, na, oh, I can work a desk job 8 to 5 for 50,000 pesos a month, or I can do sex work 8 to 5 for 50,000 a month, then if you are presented with those options and you still pick sex work, go ahead. You know, it's your choice. No big deal. Good for you. Gets? But what I think lang kasi, what's wrong with what it is now, is I can work an 8 to 5 job, earn 30,000 a month, while if I do sex work, I can do that in 2 sessions. So, does that make sense? Because if you put it into perspective, that sounds like a good deal to me. I just think the morality around sex should be changed. Anyway, also, parang with the system, I think when you are a sex worker, it should be treated as any other job. It should have health benefits, security, job security, insurance. But again, this is a very big ask when we can't even provide that for our farmers. What more sex workers? So we are very far behind. We are crawling very slowly towards with this ideal society. And I don't see this happening in my lifetime. In the near future, I do not see this happening. But yeah, that's what I think about sex work. Please do, again, I will plug this. You will learn a lot because they are actually talking to a sex worker. Topics on, do they really need saving? Do they really need helping? By saving sex workers, by helping sex workers, yung pag tinatanggal mo sila sa di ba parang kapag kunyari nagre-raid ng sex house or whatever, are we really helping them? This gets discussed here. Why they became sex workers, discussed here. The intersectionality of feminism and sex work gets discussed here. A lot. It's an hour long, but I swear you will learn a lot. You will not regret it. So please do consider watching the podcast. Yes, okay. I've been wanting to do TikTok trash and treasure for a while now, but the algorithm on my TikTok is wala akong nakitang trash masyado. One, I think I've blocked Jam. I've blocked Buknoy, I think. I blocked the Gab Adeva guy, the friend of Buknoy. I blocked them. When I see content I don't like, I block them. So I think hindi ko nakikita yung mga toxic TikTok people. Or with treasures, dami ng gwapo na na-enjoy akong panoorin, but do you wanna see that? Do you wanna see mga Mga gwapo na discover ko sa TikTok. Yeah. So I think that's what I want to cover this week. If you disagree with me, that's totally fine. Let's just I forget. I can't see the DM I had with one of our friends here. I think it was. Is it Eros? Eros, are you watching? Or Jobel, Manora? If you're watching, I want to start that Reddit thread. I don't know how to start it. Please help me. So we can have like discussions, you know. Do you want to do like a Facebook group too where we can discuss things? Let me know in the comments below if you want to do that. Kasi parang I want to exchange thought. Kasi pag dito sa YouTube yung comments, hindi masyadong discussy, ma-thready. So I want to do like, do you want to do like Facebook or Reddit? Pero parang I want to try Reddit kasi parang cool. Yun. Please, I heard this person, doctor said, na parang if we hit like 10,000, 15,000 cases a day, it's only a matter of when you'll get it. I have multiple friends, family members who have already gotten the virus, and I have heard their stories. Super scary. Thankfully, I haven't lost anyone close to me yet to the virus. I know people who have lost their parents na lalo to COVID. So please, guys, please stay home. For my QC people, nag-announce yung Twitter ng QC GovPH on updates ka na magkaka-vaccine ulit. Because I went to 3 sites last Friday, no available vaccines. And then, I think they're restocking next week. Not sure. Pero if you can, please do get. A1 to A3 pa rin ata. If you get the chance to register to vote, please register na. We have about, how many months left? 4 or 5 months left to register. So please do register. So yeah, please follow me on all my social media channels. Facebook, here on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Kumu, I might be starting to stream on Kumu every day. Just for fun, mga tambay-tambay lang. Also, I want to say that don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to like, you know, restart. Don't be afraid to like jump to new opportunities. Yeah, you have a choice on what you consume. I was gonna say something. I read this from my tita, from my Nanay Joy. Building a healthy life is building a life that you don't want to escape from every day. Di ba parang when you say, I need an escape, I need to like get away from this life. Building a healthy life is building a life that you don't want to escape. Parang something to think about. Get something to reflect on. And ever since I read that, I'm like, you know what? I should build a life that I don't want to run away from. So yeah, I'm really happy. Yun. I hope you guys find an ounce of happiness and don't let it go. This has been Sunday Palengke. This has been fun, y'all. Long episode again. I think around 25 minutes though, if I edit it nicely. This has been Sunday Palengke. See you next week. Bye! Oh my god, forgive my nails. Look! Ew! Bye! I'm growing a new zit here, but it's dead. I think it's because of Puyat. Because guys, I have been obsessed with Twitter Spaces. Weekend Tawanan and Baklaan Nights and shared spaces. Oh my god! There was this one time, at parang 3 nights in a row, I just left it there and then nakakatulugan ko na lang siya. It's crazy, guys. Thank you for everyone who is on Spaces. You guys are giving me fucking life and giving me happiness and giving me what I need. I feel like I'm surrounded with people who are happy and are loving. Honestly, it's great. It's great. Thank you to everyone who's on Twitter Spaces. Wala lang, I'm obsessed.